Hi, thank you for watching, and today I want to talk about healthy communication. One of the things that is so vital in protecting your children is healthy communication. Are you communicating with your child? Maybe you don't know how to communicate with your child, but the first and foremost is you don't have to talk about sex, you don't have to talk about genitalias and things like that. Now, one of the things I do want to emphasize, no matter what age your child is, let's start when they are small, like toddlers. Talk about what is healthy touching, what is appropriate, what isn't appropriate. Talk about body parts as they're growing and learning about their body, but also talk about self-esteem, talk about how beautiful they are, and all that amazing things. The next step as they start to engage in daycare, preschool, and if they are already attending preschool, start asking your children, how did you enjoy daycare? Did you play with someone? How was your playtime? What did it involve? Who was involved? What did you guys talk about? You need to be as much as engaged in your child's life as much as possible. It is really important because at that moment you'll start hearing some certain things that may or may not sound appropriate. And one of the biggest things I have to emphasize, if your child is saying, well, there's this boy, he keeps touching me, start asking, like, what type of a touch? How did it make you feel? What did you do? If they say, I didn't do anything, or I froze, tell them it's okay. I understand you were in shock. And then make sure you want to be very careful and not inserting your feelings into their thoughts. You want to actually extract their feelings and how they felt in that moment. For example, when you're talking to your child about playtime, whether it's a peer or another adult, ask them, what did you guys play with? What did you guys talk about? What was the playtime for? What did you learn from that? If they start saying things like, oh, well, we were playing blocks and, the teacher was playing with me because no one else would play with me, ask them how they felt about the teacher engaging with your child. How does it make them feel? If they start saying things like, well, I didn't feel comfortable because I felt like the teacher was staring at me a lot. And ask them, okay, did you ask the teacher why they were staring at you? And they say, no, I just ignored it. And, even though you might think, okay, it's probably a helpless stare, but always remember that even predators stare at their potential victim. So it's really important to really talk about those staring and then kind of keep a journal for your child, especially if they're a toddler, preschool, or in the early elementary. You want to start keeping a journal of what your child says. Keep a record of that. It's really important. And then just occasionally ask the child about the same teacher. Has your teacher been staring at you a lot? How does it make you feel? And then once you start looking back at the record that you keep regarding what this teacher did, then you can start noticing some red flags. And at that moment, whether they're big red flags or small red flags, then you want to start asking your child, do you want mommy to take care of the situation, even though it's just staring? Or do you want to teach your child how to ask the appropriate question, like, can I help you? I noticed that you're staring at me. I'm just wondering, because when a teacher is constantly staring at your child, there's a fine line of whether it is healthy or not healthy. But it also depends on how the child feels and what makes them feel that way. The other thing you can do is also ask the child, has someone else stared at you prior to school that made you uncomfortable? And they may say, yes, I remember Uncle so-and-so kept staring at me the same way, and it made me uncomfortable. When was this? And start asking those type of questions. It's really important how you communicate with your child, how you're talking to them without including any type of sexual labels and terminologies into your conversation. Now, when they get in the middle of elementary in the 3rd through 5th grade. You want to do the same thing. You want to repeat and explain to them about healthy touching, what is appropriate, what isn't appropriate. And then at that point, start sharing some light stories, going on to, there's a website called netkids.org. I'll be including that into the YouTube so that way you guys can look it up. Look up some creative activities that you and your child can do together to learn about some dangers, red flags, and how to equip your child when it comes to communication and other people in their schools or their peers and things like that. However, the most important thing is when you say you're protecting your child and not allowing them to have a social life, not allowing them to go out, not allowing them to go to the mall by themselves with other kids, especially if they're at the age between 13 to 15, and you may say, I don't care what other parents have done, that is fine. But are you communicating with your child why? Even if your kid says, well, Mom, it's not a big deal, all the kids go, then what you want to do is just say, well, then I'll chaperone, I won't follow you around, but also be able to equip them with certain things to look out for. Is someone following you at the mall? Is someone making you uncomfortable? Is someone staring at you? These are things to look out for, and some red flags to look at. Even someone that they know. If they say, hey, we're all going out, you should come with, then you can say, well, my parents are here, so I need to ask them. And if they say, okay, it's not a big deal, my parents are going to be there. Oh, and here's the other thing. Just because the other parents are going to be available does not mean they share the same value and morals of your household. So that's another thing to look out for. So whenever your kid says, hey, I got invited to a birthday party, and you don't know this person, you want to get to know the parents. You want to know who they are, who's all going to be there. Ask the appropriate questions. If they say, well, I've been chatting with this person online, they're my friend, we became good friends, we'll invite them over. Get to know the child. Feel the vibe. Feel the energy with that child and their family as well. Watch the demeanor. Start observing different behaviors. This is going to be the one step that you'll be able to equip yourself as well as your kid in protecting your child. And so I want to give you those tips. Feel free to share this video, comment below what your thoughts were, and if you want me to elaborate a little bit more, please let me know. I'm going to be talking more about protection and communication, as we go down the road. But in the meantime, I just want to share this little tidbit. If you want to know a little bit more, comment below, subscribe, and be sure to catch up all my other videos. All right? Thank you so much, and have a great day.